Hi everyone, this is Steve Evans, the Head of Internal Communications for the UK marketing company of AstraZeneca, and I wanted to share with you today my story of coming to terms with who I am as an openly gay man. I grew up in the valleys of South Wales, a place which is beautiful and a place that the sport of rugby runs through the blood of almost every person who lives there. So it'll probably come as no surprise that I grew up playing rugby. I played it through school, played it after school, all with the same group of young men that I grew up with. And when I was on the journey of coming to terms with my sexuality and sort of finally admitting to myself who I was, I created an entire storm in my mind about how I was going to be received, particularly by my rugby teammates. It turns out that that storm that I created was entirely and utterly fabricated in my own head. I had predicted that they would react with hostility, that I would be rejected and not welcomed in the team anymore. And coming to that realization based on nothing evidential was quite sad for me, because when I was coming to terms with my sexuality and finally deciding on the moment to come out, I created myself a lot of pain and anguish. When I was finally brave enough to admit that I was gay to my teammates at the age of 24, if you think about it in terms of a firework, it was almost like a fizzle. I expected, a display worthy of Disney, and realistically, I got a £5 Catherine wheel from the Asda shopping cart. So, and what I mean by that is it was greeted with nothing but love and acceptance from every single member of my rugby team. They welcomed me with open arms, they embraced me, they supported me, they encouraged me to be my true, authentic self, and under the knowledge that nothing, as far as what we had between us as a team, would change. It was remarkable, it was wonderful, and I can honestly say that I am one of the lucky ones when it comes to coming out. I had and have had to this day not a single negative reaction to coming out from my rugby teammates, from my 90-year-old grandma, who comes from clearly a very different generation, through to my siblings, and of course through to my colleagues at AstraZeneca. Fast forward 20 or so years, without giving too much away on my age, I am now the first team manager of Luton Rugby Club, a club which is predominantly if you can call it a heterosexual rugby team. It's not in the wider sense, it's not termed as an inclusive rugby club. However, since I joined them a number of years ago, what they have proven over and over and over again is that they are an inclusive rugby club. I have been welcomed into a new team with entirely open arms, and I forced myself not to have the same projected fears when I joined Luton, and meeting an entirely new group of rugby players. I am lucky, I am blessed, I've got the sport in my life that I love. I am in an organisation like AstraZeneca which encourages me to bring my whole self to work, recognises the value that I add to the organisation, and supports me in all aspects of my life. So I'm in a good place, and I feel very proud and very privileged that we are supporting Pride Month. But being gay is not for a month; it's it's for life. And I know that for me, AstraZeneca is a very safe space. So my name's Steve Evans, and this is most definitely me.